Prejudiced Know-It-Alls and Pathologically Stupid.
In the 376th Contact Conversation of 3rd February Special Bulletin, number 17, page 2, Patah warned Billy about the defamation of various sides. The proof that secret services and authorities, among others, were behind this could still be provided in the same bulletin. In the efforts of authorities, secret services, and other governmental organizations in this regard, there is a certain fear behind the attacks on the one hand, for they know very well what Billy's words and teachings could do if they were heard by the broad masses. But on the other hand, there is also a certain logic in their undertaking, for they must not let what is not true be true, and everything that could become dangerous to their own power must not be true. The situation is different and much more incomprehensible in the case of those private individuals who, out of pure pathological stupidity, out of prejudiced know-it-allism and other primitive and base reasons such as envy, jealousy, and sheer nonsense, launch such attacks against Billy and his mission, for these human beings are under no external constraint. If they were not too stupid to get their gray cells working a little bit and to fight against their own primitiveness and foolishness, to slowly develop an eye for the facts, then they would have to realize, full of shame, what folly and foolishness they are displaying in their thoughtlessness and reprehensibility. But since their brain mass is apparently already so rotten that the time limit of their simple-minded material life is already their highest achievement in consciousness, such insights and knowledge will probably be a long time in coming. The proof that private prejudiced know-it-alls and morbidly infantile ones of lowly intelligence sound the same horn as certain governmental organizations and sing with them the song of slander. Bottomless stupidity and insidious malice was provided by a certain Mr. Singer by telephone last Saturday, 26th of February 2005. This Mr. Singer, who presumably called under a pseudonym because these kinds of people are generally too cowardly to reveal their real personal details, and who is supposedly a German citizen, which by no means says anything about the consciousness-based qualifications of other German citizens, dictated the following words to his interlocutor in his unbridled narrowness. I have long been familiar with the internet site of the con man Billy Meyer, and I want to say something about this. I have come across old writings by the Schutzbach brothers which testify and prove that Billy does not write all his books himself and only copies them from other books he has, many hundreds of times. This action is criminal and an outrageous impertinence and should be punished because this is theft of intellectual property. I do not understand how you can just leave this Billy guy scot-free. And how could an uneducated person like this Billy Meyer also write such writings and books as he allegedly does? Also, the large number of his allegedly written books is so large that he could never have written them himself, because no human being could write so many and partly thick books in such a short time, because just working through and correcting such books several times until they are really finished always takes a very long time. Everything is supposed to have been written by the deceiver only since 1977 until today, which is simply impossible. What nonsense! The man is an imposter and a megalomaniac who should be locked up, as thieves who steal other people's intellectual property should be.
Singer, Germany. So much for the words of Mr. Singer, who with his thoughtless and quite obviously uninformed words has revealed himself to be a singer of primitive low intelligence and almost in malicious thoughtlessness. Pitiful human beings who have to deal with such intelligence beasts on a daily basis. Obviously, Mr. Singer, who presumably considers himself to be of considerable greatness of mind, is inferring from his own consciousness-based and literary abilities that he has those of other people. His standard seems to be his own yardstick, which is so low that even a halfway normal person would not be able to stumble over it. It is not only that Mr. Singer refers to the old writings of the Schutzbach brothers, whose lack of objectivity, mumbling, and fallacies have long since been proven, but also that he has quite obviously read neither books by Billy nor by other authors who deal with similar topics. I, for my part, have been given Peter Ustinov's widely acclaimed bestseller, Prejudices, as a gift last year, and have honestly fought my way page by page through his supposedly profound wisdom. In the process, I discovered that I have rarely read a book of greater banality and meaninglessness. Anyway, I was delighted to be able to revive my consciousness, my psyche, and my admittedly modest intelligence with the beautiful, substantial, and profound wisdom in Billy's books, which are so completely different from the books Billy actually has in his possession 100 times over, because they are usually so trivial and meaningless, non-fiction books like encyclopedias, etc., that it is not worthwhile to study them, because it is simply a pity about the time when one could do better and more clever things. That Billy, on the other hand, as many witnesses, and I in particular, can confirm, never has to revise his writings and books, that every word and sentence he writes is immediately perfect, and that not the slightest illogicality, inconsistency, digression, uncertainty, or banality can be found in them, is clearly beyond the comprehension of a great mind like Mr. Singer. With his claim, he only proves that he has never read a book by Billy, and he consequently reveals himself to be uninformed, prejudiced, of pathological low intelligence, and prelogical in his thinking. However, as far as Mr. Singer's verdict on Billy's level of education is concerned, his insolence clearly reveals him to be a singer of arrogant know-it-allness and foolish. Mr. Singer never met Billy personally. He knows nothing about his background, nothing about his literacy, nothing about his education and training, nothing about his company, his friends, and his life, and yet he presumes to call him uneducated. All those who take the trouble or have taken the trouble to really get to know Billy, and who are familiar with him, know him as a highly educated, circumspect, far-sighted, clever, well-read, and versatile human being with whom any topic can be discussed in depth. He does not talk in platitudes. What he says has hand and foot and can be proven in every respect and at any time. Inconsistencies and stupidities do not come over his lips, neither do empty phrases and hackneyed platitudes. To his normal circle of friends and acquaintances belong people of the highest hierarchical levels of our society, such as doctors, professors, well-known managers from the economy, university pastors and priests, members of the government, diplomats, etc., etc., all of whom are not too shy to ask for his advice and listen to it. They talk and discuss with him as with their peers. If we were to name Billy's friends by name, poor Mr. Singer would be in awe of so much education. Billy's modesty and his loyalty and integrity do not allow him to brag about these names and bask in their glow, nor to boast about his education. Nor would he ever ask these people to out themselves as his friends, to vouch for his honesty with their names. He has no need of such chess and checkering moves, for they are far beneath his dignity. But now a word on the subject of criminal liability in particular. When creatures like Mr. Singer call our office and attack their interlocutors about Billy, or in internet forums and in writing, and feel they have to pour their filth over Billy, they usually do so anonymously or under a false name. This is because they know very well that it is they themselves who make themselves liable to prosecution under the code of law through slander, libel, and malicious insults, and who should be locked up for dragging other people's good name and honorable blamelessness down in the dirt and trampling on their slobbering injustice, stupidity, and prelogical infantility. A behavior that they would never put up with themselves if it happened to them as it happened to Billy. Humans of the caliber of a Mr. Singer still have to learn a lot, and certainly in many coming lives, long and hard, before they will finally be far enough along in their development that they get beyond the stage of prehistoric creatures and really deserve the designation human. The following is written in Mr. Singer's family register because he is supposedly one of the regular visitors to our website and one of the loyal readers of our publications on the internet. For 30 years it has been proven time and again and without exception that it was precisely such primitiveness and poisonousness that led Billy and the Figu to unexpected success, time and again. It is precisely because of such baseless attacks that intelligent, educated, honest, and honorable people are prompted to take a closer look at us, which usually also means that they support us all along the line and are helpful to us in every respect. In this regard, I would like to take this opportunity to thank Mr. Singer officially for his prejudiced know-it-all attitude and his pathological stupidity, and say to him, "Stay as you are, then Billy will be successful in the future." Oh yes, what I almost forgot to mention is that when Mr. Singer dictated his tirade to the alleged Figu telephonist, he had no one else on the line but Billy himself, who with a quiet grin wrote down word for word what he was told to pass on.
Bernadette Brand, Switzerland.